You're tuned in, Listen in 3D, episode number 25. I'm your boy Justin, aka Too Tall for You Fool.
And I'm Netta, aka Wondrous Net.
And together we are Team 3D, the host of Listen in 3D of and together we are Team 3D, the host of Listen in 3D, where we discuss, dissect, and debate the music and albums in the world of hip hop and other genres. If you want to help us out, be sure to like this video, give us a comment, share it around, and definitely subscribe. If you want to go one step further in terms of helping us, click that notification bell. That way, you get notifications when all our videos go live. If you want to podcast the show, choose whatever platform to listen to the show. We're on all of them as of right now, except for Apple Music. If you want to email the show, listenin3d at gmail.com. If you want to email the show. And then with all that out of the way, um, yeah. All right, Netta, how you doing? I know it's only been a day at the time of this recording. We doing it like a kind of back to back. How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good. So I remember you asking me about earthquakes. I forget if it was on air or off air during the last episode. Yeah, we had one last night actually, a
Oh, wow.
3.8. I felt it. It wasn't the biggest earthquake I've ever heard, but I mean, or I've ever
It's
had.
3.8 high.
It was enough to scramble the county that I live in, but it's not like
Wow.
the big ones. Like anything above like a 5.0, if it's not in a desert area, you might want to suspect some damage. So, but so yeah, we've been having a lot more earthquakes lately, and it's been kind of weird, but that's okay.
Yeah, I can imagine. Did you wake up and go right back to sleep or?
I was awake when it happened,
Oh,
so it didn't wake me or anything like that.
oh.
All right, and then how you doing though? Just doing all right? Ready for the weekend?
Yeah, I'm good. Can't complain. It's Friday.
Yeah, it is a Friday at the time of this recording, folks. So this episode is going to be real exciting because we're going to finally start doing double albums in the world of hip hop, and there have been quite a bit of them, from Tupac to the Notorious B.I.G., Wu Tang Clan, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Jay Z. The list goes on and on of how many double albums that there are in hip hop. But we're going to do a particular one today, and if you would like to, Netta, let's get into the facts about this one.
So today we'll be doing "He's the DJ, I'm the Rapper" by DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. It was released March 28th, 1988. It was their second studio album. It was the first double album in hip hop history, and then the eighth hip hop album to go platinum. It was certified 3 times platinum. It peaked at number 5 on the hip hop and R&B charts and number 4 on the billboards. It had singles including Brand New Funk, Parents Just Don't Understand, and A Nightmare on My Street. And there were music videos for all of the singles, and they had no guest appearances.
All right, thank you very much, Netta. So, DJ Jazzy Jeff, his real name Jeffrey Towns, and the Fresh Prince, who we all know as Will Smith. They were, a classic DJ rapper duo, and you had quite a bit of those in the mid to late '80s. And some of those others I'll get into when I do my recommendations toward the end of the episode. But this was their second album. Coming off a strong debut album. And well, most people know the Fresh Prince for obviously his sitcom that aired on NBC for 6 years, The Fresh Prince of Bel Air. I'm sure a lot of you guys that are watching this episode are familiar with that, so don't want to go into that too much. So we'll just try to concentrate on the music. But I mean, for the most part, as for me, uh, besides just him being on that sitcom, music wise, I did have their greatest hits, and some of these songs were on their greatest hits. For the most part, it was just average greatest hits. A lot of it's singles and stuff like that. Some of the songs I like, some of the songs I didn't like, and otherwise, I mean, for the most part, I mean that's really the experience I had with DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. In particular, the two of the singles, "Parents Just Don't Understand" and "Nightmare on My Street." They were pretty heavy songs in my rotation growing up, and I really also liked their jam a couple albums later. I'm sure you've heard this one too, Netta, "Summertime." So, any memorable thoughts on DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, or have you heard any of their music before listening to this album?
No, I really only had seen the show.
Hmm.
Prior to this, I just knew Will Smith as like a really more of an actor,
Hmm.
so I was kind of expecting him to be a little less bombastic, like in
Hmm.
his pre Hollywood days, but I was misguided.
Yeah, he was more a comedian back then before he got on the sitcom stage, if you know what I mean. So hopefully listening to this album you were entertained. So I mean that's really the only thing I mean he could probably do for, a lot of the fans out there. Just be entertained regardless of the time. But I mean, I personally had a fun time. I really enjoyed this album a lot, and I had never really listened to it in its entirety. So um, let's see. So let's get into the beats. Um, any nice sounding beats that you liked from this one?
Yeah, my favorite was "Here We Go Again."
Hmm.
I don't know if it was a trumpet or a trombone or what, but I really liked the horn on there. Uh, on "Time to Chill," I liked the percussion, and
Hmm.
I liked rhythm tracks too.
Oh yeah, Time to
Which
Chill.
ones did you?
Yeah, Time to Chill was a good one. Also, like the first track of "Nightmare on My Street," the single, and "Here We Go Again." I mean, so I think we're about on the same level with the beats. Before moving forward, I almost forgot about the album artwork. What did you think of the artwork? I know if you listen to it on streaming services, it's just a picture of DJ Jazzy Jeff saying he's the DJ. But if you do a Google image search, you'll see he's the DJ to the right, I'm the rapper to the left. What it was I guess if you got it on cassette or vinyl, like the back of it, even CD, the back of it had Will Smith pointing. It was supposed to be like one whole like photo, and then of course obviously the whole track listing and all that. So, what were your thoughts on it?
I liked it. I liked that he's really a the bigger star at the time, Will
Mm,
Smith than Jazzy Jeff, but he puts the DJ on the front cover and himself on the cover. Um, and I also like that even though the DJ's on the front cover, you got a little bit of his hand there to
yeah,
probably make somebody say, "Hey, what is that?" and pick up the album and probably buy it. So I liked it. I thought it was creative.
yeah, it was definitely unique. I just wish they both could have been on the front cover, but I get what they were going for. So, and it's a unique title. He's the DJ, I'm the rapper, DJ rapper, and like a lot of the duels that we'll get into a little later, they went with the DJ first, and then the rapper, and kind of what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, for the purposes of the digital albums, on Spotify and Apple, it would have made more sense to have Will Smith on there too.
Yeah, but definitely DJ rapper. I think you don't. I mean, you see like a lot of DJ acts these days, like performing at concerts and stuff like that. It's hardly that you ever see them like a rapper DJ unless they're like in a group or if it's like an old school group. I mean, I'm sure there's some underground groups, but I think the art of the DJ has kind of gone away from hip hop a little bit. Something I would kind of like to see come back, if you know what I mean. And what are your thoughts on that?
I was actually wondering the same thing. Is the DJ the same thing as like the producer, like a Dr. Dre, or is that something a little different?
Um, it depends. Yeah, in some cases, DJs can produce the album or produce a record. So, and back then, like in the '80s, and so like some of the songs, like rhythm tracks, for example, like you really get to see or hear the DJ skill, like how they are on the turntables, as opposed to just like the DJ that's just just making the beats and just kind of sitting in the background. So he was like DJ Jazzy Jeff was up front, in terms of making the music and all that stuff
Yeah.
for him. So
I like that he kind of pushes him to the front and
mm,
encourages him to get some of the shine. I know a lot of the times, like with Salt and Pepper, their DJ Spinderella, she always felt kind of
mm-hmm.
left out of the group in a way because everybody always talking about Salt and Pepper. So it's cool that he's pushing him to the front.
Yeah.
But really, honestly, I'm just personally I'm there to hear Will Smith. So
At
it's
least you're
nice that he's
honest.
doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, at least you're honest. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, artwork very very unique.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the singles. Let's go with let's start with Brand New Funk. What was your thoughts on this track?
I liked it. He kind of talks about the DJ again on there.
Hmm.
He calls him the superior beat creator and calls
Yep.
himself the literary genius. So I like that. I like how he tells the story of how they came together. He heard Jazz's funky beats,
Hmm.
and it was history from there. I thought there was a lot of adjectives in this one. He's like, we're the most original, amazing, astounding, miraculous, remarkable, startling, sensational, stupendous music that has ever been created. So it was okay. It was probably the my least favorite single, but it was okay.
Yeah, that's fair. It had a nice catchy beat. The dun dun dun. I didn't like the beginning beat though. Dun 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 dun. Like that part, like because I remember when I had the greatest hits, this song would come on, I'd just be like turned off by like yeah next. So it was a skip for me. But I mean, but I'd listen to it eventually, and then after listening to it now, I mean I like the middle, the beat change in the middle there, but that don't. But yeah, but then like the beginning beat too much. As for singles, yeah, definitely my least favorite. But I mean, he did say that he is the most original, amazing, astounding, miraculous, remarkable, startling, sensational, stupendous music that was pretty creative during its time. I'll give him that.
Yeah. And one of the parts he says he's talking about how when he's on the stage performing and he's
Mm,
looking at the people and he says you could see the people dancing and shaking and moving and jumping and spinning and clapping while the beatbox was grooving and I was screaming and yelling while on the microphone. I was flowing fresh rhymes and I was showing the people they say keep going. So it was good. It was fun. It was like, kind of talking about his experience of being like a superstar. So I thought
mm.
it was cool, but it wasn't the best single.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely was not. All right, let's go with the second single, the one that won them a Grammy, the first ever
Did,
Grammy
did
in hip hop.
did you like that video? The brand
Oh,
new
oh, oh,
funk.
almost forgot about the video. The video, it was interesting, just it was like between like them on like a set and then like them like performing on stage, So it was all right video. Nothing. Not it's not the worst video we've ever seen, at least. What about you? What were your thoughts on
Yeah,
the video?
yeah, it was okay. I did like the dancing. There was a lot of like
Yeah,
dancing on there. There's a certain way that you see people on on the videos like dancing in the '80s. It's like a
yeah.
I don't know. It's like fast but slow at the same time. So I like to see
I think it probably had to be an '80s thing. I don't know, but
that.
all right. Yeah, just working too
and,
fast here. What's up?
when you were listening to this album, did you hear this? You didn't hear this back in the day. You would have been too young, so you would have heard it later on in life.
Yeah, I heard this. Yeah, I heard it like I don't know. I want to say maybe late high school,
Oh,
something
okay.
like that. So yeah, maybe like 2000, somewhere around there. After Will Smith's heyday as going as a solo artist. All right, so yeah, the single that got them a Grammy, "Parents Just Don't Understand." I think we all can relate to that.
Yeah.
at some point or another. Um, I'll let you go ahead start here. What were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think that's what made it so sensational that everybody could really relate to it. No matter who you are, you had some a parent or some form of guardian that, you really couldn't relate to, and they're always telling you to do this stuff that you think is weird, but it's really for your own good. I liked when he was saying, talking about how his mom picked some outdated clothes for him and to go
Yeah,
to school to learn, not for a fashion show, and he goes and gets made fun of. It made me think of my parents when I used to go school shopping. They took a little different approach, perhaps because their parents did it kind of stuff to them. But
mm,
my dad, they basically let us pick whatever we wanted, and they were telling us like, you don't really need Nikes and all this kind of stuff, but we know
yeah.
that this kind of it takes away the stress of being at school, and it's one less thing to worry about, being bullied or whatever, if you have whatever clothes you want and you can just focus on learning. So they kind of explicitly took that route, and I'm glad they did, because I wouldn't want to go to school in bell bottoms and all that crap.
Oh yeah.
So
Well, I mean, I think when both of us were in school, I think whatever they had in the '80s may have been a little outdated. So I mean, you don't want to go to school and get clowned for what you're wearing. That's like the last thing you want to get made fun of, and especially with the day, bullying, school shootings, shit like that. It's yeah.
yeah.
I'm glad I'm not a high school student anymore. Let's just put it that way. But I mean,
And these days it
yeah,
doesn't really end, because the internet, they go home and they're still at
yeah,
school. So
yeah.
get them some nice cool clothes if you can,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
stay
I
possible.
mean, definitely. Yeah. I mean, yeah. That the struggles of what he went through with that song. Yeah, yeah. Parents out there, please don't. I mean, they don't have to be the superstar of the classroom, but at least don't have them going to school looking raggedy or just something outdated to the point where people were clowning them and their punchline
Yeah.
for the rest of
Don't
their.
dress them in ancient artifacts, like you said. I got dressed up in ancient artifacts.
Yeah, so I mean, the first part of the song, and the second part of the song, I know tells like a unique story too, in terms of just parents being out of town. Let's take the car out. I would have went a different approach. I would have just had a party at the house, but then that. I mean, we've all seen that before. Just parents out of town. Oh, who's on the? All right, party at his house.
Right.
Yeah, we've all been there, but I mean that's the approach I would have went. But hey, taking out your parents' new Porsche for a little spin and getting in trouble for not
Yeah.
having a license, and the girl being a 12-year-old runaway, which she didn't even look 12 in the music video, by the way. But I
Not at all.
mean,
I was looking for it too, because I had already listened to it, and I'm like, let me see what they got this girl looking like, because they said she's 12, but yeah, she
no,
didn't look
yeah,
12 at
she
all.
did no.
And then at the end, he still blames his parents. He's like, I stole the Porsche, had a 12-year-old runaway, had a running with the cops. Parents just don't understand. Like, what?
Yeah,
But
I
yeah.
think the first verse made a little more sense. The second verse, maybe that was just you not making a smart decision.
I think he wanted to take like both perspectives. Like, one thing I'm doing something really stupid, the other thing they're doing really stupid. It was funny when they had both, when he said his parents switched places, beating him in the car. You drive so I could beat him. Now you drive so I could beat him. They were
Yeah.
very funny.
Yeah, the music video was pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
It was probably definitely the funniest music video, but
Yeah, it had that aesthetic of the Fresh Prince show that they would use in that title sequence.
yeah.
I loved it. It's like colorful and dramatic, all up in the camera. Really close up in it. Like the people get really close up in the camera.
Yeah, yeah.
So I enjoyed it.
You probably like his other video too. It was from his previous album, or their previous album, Girls Ain't Nothing But Trouble. That video
Oh,
was,
okay.
yeah, if you got time, just look for it on YouTube. It was kind of like in the same like category, backdrop, colorful.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about. All right.
yeah.
So A Nightmare on My Street. So I gotta ask, um, did are you into horror films? Are you a fan of the Nightmare on Elm Street motion pictures?
I don't like to be scared. I don't watch scary movies.
All right, so you're not familiar with Freddy Krueger, or I'm sure you've heard of him, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm familiar with them, but I've
Okay.
never seen the movie. Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I thought it was pretty cool how he did a song based on like a movie that he saw, A Nightmare on Elm Street, just and then have and then Freddy Krueger trying to be his DJ and I'm your DJ now, Princey. That was kind of funny at the end of the song. And then, he thinks he's dreaming, and then he hits up Jazzy Jeff after he wakes up from the nightmare, I guess. And then he's like, "Don't fall asleep." So I thought it was pretty funny. What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I liked it too. At the end they have that little what do they call it, like a disclaimer where they're
Oh
like,
yeah,
nothing in this has anything to do with Nightmare on Elm Street. And when I was watching it, I was expecting for the guy to look like Freddy Krueger, and I
he
was like,
didn't.
he doesn't look like, he has like headphone ears and like a clock eyes. It was very unique, I guess. This monster that Will created. Um, and then I really like the he wears this in the other videos too. The sleeping cap that he always
Mm.
has on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I, I really like that. But it was an engaging video. I enjoyed it, and a good concept for a song in general. Like,
Yeah.
kind of basing it on the movie, get people excited about it.
All right. So I did a little bit of research on the music video. So apparently, New Line Cinema, the copyright holders of the Nightmare on Elm Street film franchise, sued them for copyright infringement,
Really?
and they were forced to destroy the music video produced for the song. I guess all the copies had to be destroyed, but apparently, some years later, I think about maybe 6 years, yeah, 7 years ago now, sometime in 2017, I think it resurfaced, and now it's on their YouTube channel for everyone to watch. So it was ordered to be destroyed, but
Oh
apparently,
wow.
so no one really got to see the video back in like the 80s or whatnot, or throughout the 90s, because
Oh.
it was, yeah, they couldn't do, yeah. So when it resurfaced on YouTube, that's when it came about, which I find kind of
So
crazy.
I wonder if it was because I know in the very beginning of the video you see some clips, but I don't know if that's actually from the Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Do you know?
No. So what the rumor was, I guess there was something going around that it was considered to be in the fourth Nightmare on Elm Street, The Dream Master, which came out in 1980, yeah, sometime in 1988. Yeah, August 19th, 1988. It was considered for that film, but eventually the producers decided against it, and then that's why they had that disclaimer. This is not a part of the Nightmare on Elm Street soundtrack. What that whole disclaimer at the beginning and the end of the
Oh,
video. So just a little fun fact there about that song. So
yeah. Whatever they did to distinguish it from the movie, wasn't enough legally, I guess.
yeah, so that's why it doesn't look. I mean, if anything, looking back on it, they New Line should have just went with it. I think it could have been a win-win for both of them. Looking back, I mean, I don't see why
If they
not.
would have known, if they would have known what Will Smith would be, in 2023, they would have thought differently, I'm sure.
Yeah, if they
Or no,
could.
not 2023, maybe 2020. Let's say if they
Yeah,
would have known
21.
what Will Smith would be in 2020, they would have went with
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, 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 no comment there. But
it.
all right, but yeah. But yeah, that's a little facts on the music video there. So now that we've gone through the singles, let's get into our three favorite tracks. What do you got?
Parents just don't understand. Here we go again, and Time to Chill with an honorable mention for Charlie Mack.
Oh, the Charlie Max song. Okay, so we're a little bit similar. Here We Go Again was one of mine. Time to Chill, another one of mine.
Okay.
And then I went with the other single, Nightmare on Elm Street. So we were close.
Okay.
We were close.
That was close. That was close for me too. I
Mm.
like Nightmare on Elm Street. So
Oh,
yeah,
man. So that was a close
we're
one.
really close on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
add two honorable mentions. They were let's see, Let's Get Busy Baby, and you probably saw this coming. I know you're probably thinking at the back of your head.
The
Yes, you,
video game one.
yeah, human video game. Yeah, I
No,
could.
I like that one too.
It,
I
it
really
was
like
a
that
it
one
was
too.
a unique song. It really was a unique song, and
I'm like the fact that this song it fuses the video games to hip hop. I'm like, this is gonna be one of his favorites. I knew
yeah, it
it.
was. I mean, it wasn't the best song, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I had to give it an honorable mention. Well, we could
Okay.
talk about honorable mentions in a minute, but yeah, just yeah, let's see. Here we go again. What'd you like about that one?
I like the beat first off, and
Yeah.
then I just like how they're going and telling the story of uh, how they've been from their first album to this album. They're saying like we've been on tour, we went international, our
Mm,
stuff was played in Germany. We had to get out of here. That's why it's been so long.
yeah.
And he says, people tried to steal from him and deceived him, but he's lived and he learned, and he thanks the people that helped him. I feel like it was kind of like a full circle song. Um, what
Yeah.
did you like about it?
I like, and then I meant to say this earlier. I like how he just doesn't do three verses in a lot of the songs. He'll go like four or five verses sometimes, which I think is pretty cool. I don't think he gets enough
Yeah.
credit for that. So props to the Fresh Prince for doing that. But I mean, really, just I like he's explaining the story, just being around the world. France, Japan, Sweden, London, Italy. So therefore, we had to go on tour, city after city, encore, encore, bravo, bravo. Just that was some of the lyrics in the fourth verse, and then yeah, the beat was nice. So I mean, that's pretty much what I got out of the song. It was actually a pretty close one between "Here We Go Again" and "Let's Get Busy, Baby." It was really close, but I mean, I just had to go with "Here We Go Again." That beat, I think, is just a little better. And then Time to Chill. I'll kick this one off. It was probably my favorite song on the whole album. I love the beat, and just I love the sample that they did too for this song. They sampled uh, "Breezin" by George Benson. It's a nice jazz song. So I really like the sample that they did there, and just just he's really just talking about like hip hop and just in general like I like in the I think it was the fourth verse, yeah, or yeah, third verse, yeah, yeah, third verse. So if you're not in the rap, give us a chance to change your mind and to make you dance to this lyrical miracle, this musical discovery. But yo, I want to chill for a second. Yo, Jeff, cover me. Yeah, I really like that part of it. So and yeah, and then also do and not all. Yeah, I think a lot of his songs sometimes having a chorus. I mean, if your beat is good enough, you don't really even need a chorus. So quite frankly, so what are your thoughts on that?
I liked it too. Like the beat is like it keeps up with him when he raps like really fast, but it fits into like the slow sound of
Hmm.
the beat, the other, like not the percussion part, but the other part of the beat. So I really like that. I like that he's talking about how wide their audience is. We appeal to all kind of people: kids, teens, adults, senior citizens. I didn't know that he was intentional about that. I thought it just came about, and he
Hmm.
did the show, but he was very intentional about it, and he's very young. So I
Yeah.
thought that's very impressive. And I like that, at the beginning he's like, I've been wanting to write a slow rap song for a while, but I was hesitant, and now I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
So I really like that, and I like when he says, even the queen of Spain knows my real name. That's It really
Yeah,
speaks to how huge he was.
yeah. He was. They were a pretty big group or duo, back then. So I mean, he was pretty famous. They were big, and it's just like I think the part where he's saying give rap a chance. I think I mean, I'm sure you've done your history. Hip hop was kind of looked down upon by a lot of people. I mean, the fact that they didn't air them winning that Grammy for Parents Just Don't Understand. I think was just so. I mean, that's why people boycotted it then. But I mean, it has come a long way. I think it still has a long way to go. But back then it was just like you talk about, hey, you like rap? No, rap is crap, and I mean, people would really say that too, and they meant it.
Yeah, I think this past Grammys, which at the time we were recording, the past Grammys was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I heard similar complaints about or rap not being. They did it when the commercials were on or something like that.
Mm.
So the more things change, the more they stay the same. But a lot has changed too.
Yeah,
Like they have a lot of rap acts, but um, did who boycotted it?
I
The
think
reviewers.
I believe Russell Simmons led a group of other hip hop artists to boycott the Grammys because they weren't going to air DJ Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince winning that Grammy for their single.
Oh, I
So
see.
so that's
Yeah.
yeah, it was led by Russell Simmons, and then what did they do? Not show up. I'm not. I mean, maybe it did something at the time, but it's like okay, but I mean that was just for rap single. It was before they had like rap album of the year or hip hop album of the year, whatever you want to call it. But um,
Well, I'm sure they kept that in mind. The next year, like,
mm,
oh, well, maybe we should have them on the stage, or maybe we
yeah,
should have them televised so that you know we can get some clout off of this.
yeah,
But
it took a while, but I mean it
yeah,
is they are where they are now. But I mean, for them to be the first to win a Grammy in hip hop history, gotta give it up to them. So, anything you wanted to say about your honorable mentions, Charlie Mack or the video game
yeah,
song?
I like Charlie Mack. I just found it like funny. They're just describing their lifestyle, and it's just something that they've noticed that you know their big security guy is
Yeah,
always the first out the limo. He's super big, super tough, and he
yeah,
says uh, he clears the crowd without saying a word. Man, that's the loudest silence I ever heard. So
yeah,
this guy has some real presence.
yeah,
So I really liked it. Even I've never really heard of somebody really dedicating a song to their security.
yeah,
So he's one of those guys. He wants to kind of spread everything around. He's spreading love to his beatboxer, his
mm,
DJ, his security guard, and some other people on here I don't even remember. But
yeah,
I like that about him.
yeah. Charlie Mack, yeah, yeah. I did a little research on him. He's yeah, went from bodyguard to eventually his personal assistant when he went on when he started acting later on. So he been with Will a long time. So yeah,
Hmm.
that was pretty cool to dedicate a song about him.
Yeah.
uh, yeah, pretty cool. You don't really hear that every day. And then
You
oh,
don't.
yeah, and then as for the video game song, I'll just say I did. I don't know if you've ever played Donkey Kong, but I do like how they recreated like some of the beats there, like beatboxing, and
Yeah.
just like dun, 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 dun. It was pretty cool. Speaking of Donkey Kong, I got it right here. I actually picked up Mario versus Donkey Kong today. What a coincidence! Yeah, at the time of this recording, yeah, that game just the Game Boy Advance Classic got remade for the Nintendo Switch. So just had to show that off. And we're
I
recording the album that has human video all on the same day. What a coincidence!
that's a huge coincidence. I liked how he framed it as like I had a really bad video addiction, and it was uh it was replaced with rap.
Yeah,
He said I haven't been in the arcade since '88, and it's also or since '78, and
yeah,
it's also funny because when I'm envisioning video games, I'm envisioning what you just
yeah,
you know the this, but envisioning being in the arcade, having
Yeah.
realms and realms of quarters, and
Yeah,
six hundred
not
and
give
twenty-five
yeah, not giving people change, thinking he worked. I thought that was funny. Like, like leave me alone. Like,
Yeah,
it
that was
was
funny.
huh?
Like a real gamer guy or something. And it's funny because nowadays the kids are having those Roblox and stuff like that. So now, they're still giving quarters, constantly all over again.
Yeah, really. Who would have ever thought that we would have done an episode where we talked about the Grammys, Freddy Krueger, and video arcades?
Yeah,
Only
yeah.
this one.
Yeah, this album covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So before we move on, what'd you think of him not having like any profanity on there? Maybe like hell or damn, maybe. But I mean, what'd you think?
The only way I became aware of that is I heard Eminem said,
Oh
Will
yeah,
Smith doesn't have to curse to sell records. Well, fuck him or something. He said something
yeah.
mean
He
about it.
doesn't have a cuss in his rhyme to sell records. Well, I do. So
Yeah.
fuck him and fuck you too, or something like that. So yeah, I mean, we'll talk about that when we do Marshall Mathers. But
Yeah, I liked it. I knew that he didn't curse, but I didn't notice. The only time I ever heard a curse word is probably on like the last song on the first disc, where Jazzy Jeff mixes
oh
mixes the word shit. I think
oh
in that last song, but it's
rhythm
very
rhythm tracks. So yeah,
I think so. It's very subtle. I think he says eat shit. He's telling he's like, what are you gonna tell some guy? And I really like that too when he's mixing and mixing and mixing,
yeah,
but he's only speaking through his mixing. I
yeah.
thought that was really cool. But yeah, he said shit in that one. So I'm like, this is the last song in the last 30 seconds and the first time I've heard him say any profanity.
Yeah, no kidding. That's just crazy. Any song that you didn't like on here?
I really didn't like any of the ones where it's like only the DJ
Well,
mixing
well,
and no
that's
words.
what makes it shine. But
I guess I hip hop dancers theme was probably my least favorite one. I'm just like,
yeah,
I can't listen to that for 3 minutes.
yeah, I think for me, I will say live at the Union Square one and that show they did in 1986 that they put on the album. I think that AIDS reference didn't age very well, but I mean,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, I probably won't be bumping that on my playlist. But and then Hip Hop Dancers team, I think was that was all right. But it'd probably be the latter half of that album also. Okay.
I found it funny, kind of like when people say like, if you stanky, funky, filthy, then be quiet. So it makes everybody want to say ah.
Yeah, he
But
was
yeah,
really young at the time, so I mean, definitely, they're
yeah,
trying to get the crowd hyped up. So,
yeah.
all right. So let's see. So album cuts and expansions. So this was a double album, unless you bought it on CD. So compact discs or CDs, I guess they came out in the mid '80s, early '80s maybe, and then they let's just say that I know cassettes and vinyl, and probably both of them combined were still ahead of CDs in terms of how people consume their music. So it was a little weird. So you got the double album if you bought it on vinyl or cassette, but if you bought it on CD, they kind of gypped you. What they did, if you bought it on CD, was they cut one of the songs, which I believe was another special announcement. That got cut, and then they had edited versions of several of their other songs, totaling about a little over 72 minutes. Compact disc, for the most part, can only hold up to 80 minutes of music or audio. And if you did like the full count on the whole vinyl part of it, I think it was a little over 80 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. So So it had to be on two CDs, but for whatever reason, they just wanted to put it on one CD, I guess. So, so that's how it originally was, and then after that, they put it on CD. Finally, almost 30 years later, I believe in 2017, they put it all on CD with so you got everything. They put it on two CDs, but they gave you the first 14 tracks on the first CD, and then on the second CD, they gave you the remaining four, and then a bunch of other stuff, some singles, their single edits, some instrumentals. One of the songs was like a live performance, and then the single "Girls Ain't Nothing But Trouble," single from the previous album, had their extended mix, their single version, and instrumental remix as well. So you eventually did get the double album. I thought that was kind of weird. Any thoughts on that, or
I just found out yesterday that they even had CDs in the '80s. When you told me, I'm like, what? I don't know. I always envisioned CDs like a '90s thing and cassettes like a '80s
it
thing.
got way more popular in the '90s, but yeah, in the '80s they were just kind of coming up. But I mean, that's how they got it. But yeah, in 2017 they finally released it as a double album on CD.
Hmm.
So, but I mean, but it is the first double CD in hip hop history. So, just got to give them credit where credit's due. Um, and we will be doing more double albums as we go along. But one thing I will say, do you think this was worth being a double album after listening to it, or did it even feel like a double album to you?
Just most of the second discs were just mixes of the other songs and the song on their previous album. So probably not.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. I mean, I think,
What do you think? Yeah.
uh, well, I mean, it was the first one in hip hop history. I mean, I think the CD version they did try to edit it to the point where it's just like, oh, this doesn't need to be. So, I mean, at least if you bought it on CD. I mean, I didn't have this on CD growing up, but I mean, vinyl, it was the first to be done as a double album. So, but I mean, if I were to choose which disc was better, probably the first one.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
Yeah.
any competition there. But all right, so we'll get into some recommendations and we'll put this episode in the books. So we're talking about DJs and rappers duos. So I got two right here. If you were into this, you might want to check out Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock. It Takes Two. Not only the single, but that was the name of the album as well. Eric B and Rakim, they were a popular DJ rapper duo in the late '80s. Follow the Leader. Definitely you want to check that out. And then another one that you want to check out, not a DJ rapper combo, but a solo artist, Tone Loc. And he had an album called Loc After Dark. A little more on the easy side, as you know. These guys weren't the hardest when they came to their rhymes. So I think I found some guys that were kind of in the same category as them. All right, got any closing thoughts on this album, Netta? Any songs you're taking back to your playlist?
Yeah. I will take back "Here We Go Again," and I thought it was a pretty memorable album. Uh, each song kind of had like a story to it. They're talking about their like real life and experiences, which makes it a little more interesting. And in addition to talking about their experience, they talk a lot about the music itself, how it's made, why it's made, who it's made for. It takes you through like how they came to fame and what they've been doing since the last album. So I thought it was really cool that they touched on all of these things, and I would recommend it.
All right, that's so you'd recommend it to a hip hop fan for today, to the whole album to listen to, give it a listen. Okay, cool. Yeah, definitely. Here we go again. Time to chill. I'm taking back with me. Let's get busy, baby. Maybe the Charlie Mack song as well. That's a pretty unique, interesting song. And then also do, of course, Human Video Game. Not my favorite, but I had to say something on it.
Yeah.
All right. Let us know what you guys think of this album if you've listened to it. If not, we definitely recommend it. It's once again first double album in hip hop history. For Netta, aka Wondrous Net, I'm Justin, aka Too Tall for You Fool, saying thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Later.